Question for you. Is this racist?
You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
Or what about this?
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, I know.
Is this racist? Or how about this?
George Zimmerman.
Is this racist?
Verdict: we, the jury, find George Zimmerman not guilty.
You may feel that these are racist, but do you know that these are racist? And if so, how? Actually, let's take a step back. Do you know what racism is? You may think that you know what racism looks like, but do you know what it is? Or scratch all that. Let's go more fundamental. Do you know what race is? When I ask you the question, what is race? Does an immediate definition of race pop into your mind? My theory is that most people don't understand exactly what race is and what racism is, and thus the purpose of this video. Well, never mind all that. Let me tell you what race is. Race is a social categorization of people based on a distinctive phenotypical trait that is regarded as important. It's not saying that this guy looks like this guy because they have the same or similar phenotypical traits. It's saying that they belong in the same group. It's precisely why we have the social categorization of black and white. Without race, it will just be a physical description of everybody. This guy is a dark-skinned guy, this guy's mid-skinned, this guy's kind of lighter-skinned, and so on and so forth. But no, we have these things called black and white. Well, let me back up for a second. What do you think people mean when they say the concept of human race? It's so typical that we hear it throughout movies or inspirational speeches that people say, you know, the human race and so on and so forth. And it's like, what do you mean by that? Well, the reason why they use that term, it's supposed to designate that there is some type of fundamentality, some fundamental nature that combines all of us that are human. The use of the term is supposed to imply that there is some fundamental nature that unites all of us as human, that we're just more than human. We're just the human race. And that applies cohesiveness and that we should unite together, band together because we're all the same in some capacity, which is true if we're going to contrast ourselves with animals. But what does that mean if we're applying the exact same concept within humanity? It's saying that race produces biologically distinct characterological categories. And what I mean by that is that, you know, these people over here have some type of the same characterological characteristics and traits and so on and so forth that are somehow magically different from these people over here. It's saying that these people, because they look alike, because they share the same exact physical traits, that they belong together, that they are designed to be together, not by choice, but they naturally belong together because they are the same type of gene pool or same type of biological category. With the introduction of the concept of race, these characterological differences can be ranked in some type of hierarchy. And this type of characterological category could be deemed as better than this one. And so this ranking system is where we get the idea of superior and inferior races. And these social groupings have implications in three categories, as an implication socially, morally, and politically. For an example, a mom may not want her kids to go outside and play with, you know, her neighbor who is black and her kids are black, and, you know, she doesn't want her kids to play with the neighbor's kids and so on and so forth. That's like the social implication. And it's like, no, they are of a different skin tone of you and I don't want you to play with them. Morally, it looks a little bit different. For an example, a person who is white may say that, you know, white people and European people have brought civilization and scientific discovery and modern art and political government and so on and so forth. And because I am white, therefore I take pride in the fact that I'm white because it is my race, it is my ethnicity or my nationality that has brought these advancements that I'm proud of. And these are moral advancements. And so I'm going to take pride in that. And politically, it almost looks the same. But politically, it suggests that, well, you know, if you're really black, then you can get reparations from slavery, or if you're really black, then you can get affirmative action and stuff like that. And these handouts from the government is not going to be tailored towards white people; it will be tailored towards black people. And so it has implications in all three realms. Fundamentally, it just means that because you find yourself with certain physical traits, that somehow means something. That you are your physical traits. And so it goes a little bit beyond. It takes your race as the standard of value, the standard of judgment. And your race becomes kind of the determining factor of how I should think and how I should act. It's essentially saying, well, because you're black, therefore I'm going to issue a policy based off of the idea of affirmative action or handouts or something like that. Or because you're white, therefore we're going to do X, Y, and Z socially and whatnot. So it's essentially taking not you as an individual as a standard of evaluation. We're going to completely disregard what you believe, your values, and so on and so forth. But we're going to take your race as the standard of evaluation. It's essentially placing you as the individual against the actions of your ancestors or the overarching race that you belong to. To make it more philosophical, individuals are no longer going to be judged on what makes them individuals, which is their mind. It is their mind. Each person's mind is what constitutes individuality. The fact that I can think differently than you, have different values, have a different philosophy, can choose different, like I can literally do everything. I can choose to do literally everything different from you. That's literally what individualism is. It's not that we're a part of this, some type of major cog, and when you move, I move. No, if you move, I can choose not to move. That's literally what individualism is. That's literally, our minds is the hallmark of what individualism is. And race and racism is not treating you as an individual, which means your mind's content. It is treating you as a physical blob of, protoplasm that's determined to act in certain ways because you belong in some type of natural biological category, which is not true. If the concept of race was true, that because you are of a particular race and therefore you are of a particular biological category, then the whole concept of like Uncle Tom and Coon wouldn't even exist. It would mean that all black people would somehow fundamentally be the same. But it's not true. There is no cross-referencing of some secret magical fundamental nature between a black person who may be a Democrat or a black person who is a Republican. That doesn't happen. If anything, you can make broad strokes with certain races and cultures, but cultures doesn't mean anything when we're evaluating the individual. The individual has a particular philosophy, and each person chooses their own philosophy that they wish to live by. And so if people are choosing their personal philosophy, it completely undercuts the idea of race and anything that racists want to believe in or say that is true. And it's also important to state that racism is not specific to any racial category. It's not specific to white people. Racism can be practiced by any racial category. For more details on that, check out the article in the description titled "What is Racism?" With that being said, pick up a book, stay scholarly.